I never thought a gym membership would change my life in ways I couldn't have imagined, certainly not like this. My name is Eric, and I've been married to Natalie for almost 7 years. She's beautiful, warm, the kind of woman who makes strangers smile when they pass her in the grocery store. And me? I'm just a regular guy with a 9-to-5 and IT support, trying to stay in shape and keep our little world spinning. We weren't the most passionate couple, not anymore, but I chalked that up to the years and the routines we fell into. I still kissed her goodbye every morning, still brought her favorite almond croissants on Fridays, still tried. But recently, she felt distant. She used to ask about my day, now she barely looked up from her phone when I walked through the door. So I started hitting the gym more. At first, it was about feeling better, pushing weights, running off the stress. I'd head over right after work, usually between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. It gave Natalie time to herself, too. That's what I thought, at least. Last Tuesday, though, everything changed. I'd left my water bottle at home and decided to run back to grab it. I told the front desk I'd be back in 10. Our house was only a 10-minute drive, no big deal. The sun was setting as I pulled into our quiet little cul-de-sac, the kind of street where nothing dramatic ever happens. But as I parked, I saw a fire truck idling at the curb. I blinked. Was there a fire on the block? I grabbed my keys and jogged up to the front door until I saw someone step out of my house. He was tall, lean, wearing a firefighter's navy blue t-shirt, the kind with the department's logo on the chest. And he looked too relaxed. He wasn't carrying equipment or radioing anyone. His shirt clung to him like he'd just gotten dressed again. And then I saw it, the unmistakable expression of someone who had just, well, you know. He looked satisfied. He froze when he saw me, and for a moment, we just stared at each other. I glanced past him and into the hallway, and there she was. Natalie. Standing there in one of my old college t-shirts, the one she always said was too comfy to throw away. Her hair was damp, her makeup smeared in a way that had nothing to do with cooking dinner. Eric, she said, like she was surprised to see me, like I was the one intruding. What's going on? I asked, my voice already tight. She looked at the firefighter, then back at me. This isn't what it looks like, she blurted. Of course she said that. He cleared his throat. Sorry, man. I didn't know she was married. That made her snap. Really, Josh? You didn't see the wedding photos in the hallway? You've been here 3 times. I stood there, completely still. I remember focusing on the smallest things, like the chipped paint on the doorframe, or how the air inside smelled like her vanilla body spray and something far less innocent. 3 times? I asked, my voice quieter now. Natalie didn't answer. Instead, she moved aside, almost like she was inviting me to leave my own home. I don't know how long I stood there, staring at her. The man, Josh, apparently mumbled something and brushed past me, heading to the truck. She didn't stop him. I walked inside slowly. The silence between us was thick. I noticed her wedding ring on the counter by the sink, like it had just been too inconvenient to wear. I picked it up and held it for a second before setting it back down. How long? I asked. She crossed her arms, avoiding my gaze. A couple months. I nodded. While I was at the gym. I needed to feel wanted again, she said. You've been so distant. That stung. I wasn't the one sneaking around. I wasn't the one inviting someone into our bed when my husband was doing squats 3 miles away. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just walked upstairs and sat on the edge of our bed, no, her bed now, I guess. My mind spun in circles, trying to understand where things went wrong, what I missed. I felt like I was watching a slow-motion train wreck from the inside. She came upstairs eventually, standing in the doorway like a shadow. I don't want to lose you, she whispered. I looked at her, really looked at her, and for the first time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to stay. She stood in the doorway like a ghost, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't want to lose you. I didn't say anything. I just kept staring at the floor, because if I looked at her, I'd crack. I'd start screaming or sobbing, and I wasn't sure which would come first. Do you think, she continued, stepping into the room slowly, we could fix this? I finally looked up at her. Do you want to fix this, or do you just want to not be the bad guy? That stopped her. She sat down on the other side of the bed, careful to leave space between us. I didn't plan for this to happen, she said. No one ever does, I replied. For a while, we just sat there in silence, a chasm between us that no amount of apologies could bridge. I wasn't even sure I wanted it to. A part of me still loved her, still wanted to believe this was just some awful, stupid detour and we could go back to the way things were. But the other part, the part that watched another man walk out of our house with damp hair and my wife's scent on his skin, knew better. The next few days were quiet. Tense. I moved into the guest room and we barely spoke beyond logistics, who was doing groceries, when I was heading to the gym. Her ring stayed in the same place by the sink, untouched. One night, I came home late from work. I had taken on an extra project just to stay busy, to keep my mind from wandering into places that made my chest ache. When I walked in, I heard voices upstairs. I froze. At first, I thought she might have invited him back, Josh, the firefighter. But the second voice was female. Her sister, I realized after a few seconds. I heard my name mentioned, something about how he's been so cold, like he's already gone. And Natalie replied with something that sounded like regret. He used to look at me like I was everything, she said. Now I think he just looks through me. I walked up the stairs slowly, and as soon as they heard my footsteps, the voices stopped. Her sister slipped out of the room with a quick, awkward nod. Natalie sat on the edge of the bed, eyes puffy, makeup streaked. Eric, she said, standing. I held up a hand. Don't. I need to say something. Not as your wife, not even as someone who wants you back. Just as someone who hurt you. I stayed quiet. I was lonely, she said. But not because of you. Because of me. I didn't know how to sit in silence. You were always calm, steady, and I started confusing peace with distance. Josh made me feel seen, but it was shallow. It didn't mean anything. It meant enough to betray me, I said, keeping my voice even. She nodded. I won't deny that. And I won't make excuses. But if you ever want to ask me something, or scream at me, or say goodbye properly, I'll be here. And then she did something unexpected. She took a small duffel bag from the closet, already packed, and walked out. She left me there, in the room that used to hold 1,000 memories. All that was left now was the hollow echo of them. In the weeks that followed, I didn't rush to make decisions. I went to the gym, went to work, came home to a quiet house. Sometimes I looked at that ring by the sink. I never moved it. We texted occasionally. Polite, brief. She was staying at her sister's. She never once asked to come back. I think that was her version of giving me space, or maybe penance. Then one day, I saw Josh. At the gym, of all places. He didn't notice me at first, but when he did, he stiffened. He was bench pressing with a buddy, mid-laugh, until our eyes met. I didn't walk up to him. I didn't say anything. I just stared. Eventually, he dropped his weight and walked over. Look, he started. About what happened? You don't need to explain, I said calmly. She made her choice. You were just the one standing close enough when she fell. He looked like he didn't know whether to apologize or defend himself. In the end, he just nodded and walked away. That night, I packed her ring into a box and placed it on the kitchen counter. No note. No big speech. Just a quiet full stop to a chapter that no longer served me. A few days later, I started looking for a new apartment. Somewhere smaller. Just mine. Clean slate. They say healing isn't linear, and they're right. Some mornings, I miss her like hell. Others, I wake up breathing easier, like I've come up for air after holding my breath for years. I don't know what's next, not really. But I do know this. Sometimes the fire doesn't come with flames. Sometimes it comes with quiet betrayals, with soft lies told between sheets, with a husband at the gym while his home burns in ways he can't yet see. And sometimes, the only thing to do is walk through the ashes and keep walking.